Hello, and welcome back to the Pixel Tea. As I've been scrolling around here through these videos on YouTube, I've come across some really interesting video clips of some sci-fi movies and an old uh, video from 1945. And I thought, hey, I really feel like I want to share this with people. And so, throughout history, art, music, and film have acted as mirrors of society, and sometimes as windows into the future. So it seems when you see these clips, whether intentionally or unconsciously, creators have embedded ideas. And as YouTubers, we look into the symbols and the narratives that later seem to manifest into reality. There's been a lot of really strange current events that I've seen other YouTubers dissect. This phenomenon, often called predictive programming, I don't think it's just a conspiracy, and I don't think it's just a buzzword either. It describes how culture can plant seeds for the acceptance of future technologies and these social shifts and these power structures that we see fighting with one another, particularly through politics. Also from the prophetic lyrics of musicians. And as you're going to see, to the unsettling visions of sci-fi filmmakers, the collective imagination of the past century has consistently hinted at a world of mass surveillance, artificial intelligence, digital doubles, and virtual realities. A world that feels eerily similar to the one we're entering today. We have computers in every pocket, phones that track our every move, and these algorithms that know us better than we know ourselves, or so it seems. But what if these creative visions aren't only predictions, but also subtle conditioning? Seems like there's a lot of conditioning going on. So as these new technologies emerge, many of the freedoms they promise can also be used for control. A kind of velvet cage, perhaps. The blending of corporate power and political influence, what some call a new world order, it increasingly resembles an elite managed system where technology isn't just a tool, but can sometimes seem like a leash. But, and yet this isn't new. Every century brings seismic shifts in power and technology, but each wrapped in promises of progress, but often leaving ordinary people like ourselves frustrated with the corruption and the inequality and the manipulation. What we're witnessing now is simply the 21st century version. It's shinier and it's faster and far more intimate. So these clips that I'm going to show you are from some sci-fi movies from the 80s. And we can see that reality has seemed like it's a little bit more dumbed down. These movies have predicted deepfakes and surveillance, reality TV humiliation, and even AI girlfriends. And one of them nailed it as the rise of TikTok morons 40 years before it even happened. So this video that I'm going to share with you, they put together 10 of these sci-fi movies. I've mentioned that a few times. Tonight I'm sipping on some clove tea because whatever this big geomagnetic storm that we're going through, I have a little bit of a sore throat, I think, from it. Let's see here. Let me check out this chat. There's definitely something to it. I think they have to tell us. It's like a rule or something. Yes, I think it's been here since the beginning. I agree. And it's good to see you, Miss Ingrid. Thanks for coming by to hang out with me tonight. So let's add this to the stage. Just want to make sure that I've learned some of these tricks on here. Let's see how this goes. I'm going to read some of these films out to you. I'm not going to play the sound behind the video. Okay. So this first one that they're going to show us is from a movie called Looker from 1981 by Michael Crichton, the same guy who gave us the Westworld and later Jurassic Park, wrote and directed this one. It says, honestly, the ideas are probably better than the movie itself, but those ideas are great. The setup, a plastic surgeon played by Albert Finney is doing minor procedures on a group of models choosing perfection. Then the models start dying and he gets pulled into a detective story that turns out to be more about corporate tech than surgery. Looker is about technology spiraling out of control, data collection, facial recognition, predicting behavior, digital avatars. Back in 1981, it felt like sci-fi today. And also today, it feels like last week's tech news. By 2023, the movie became eerily relevant again, especially with the actors' strike and all of the debate over AI and digital doubles. That's exactly what happens in Looker. Real people replaced by perfect digital versions, and nobody notices the difference. Will to actually play it or not? And that's exactly what's going on. It's not going to let me play it because it's copyrighted. Can you guys see it? Let's try it again. So the second one is a movie called Brazil. And if you've ever seen it, Terry Gilliam basically imagined a future that feels very familiar, except everything is broken. Jonathan Pryce plays Sam, a low-level guy just trying to survive in a world run by nightmare bureaucracy. He's got gadgets everywhere, but nothing works. His apartment is filled with machines that are supposed to make life easier, but it's just constant repairs and noise. This isn't Star Trek or Star Wars, where tech is sleek and efficient. In Brazil, tech just gets in the way, makes life harder, and adds 100 new problems. If you've ever had to reboot your phone to answer a call or spent an hour fighting, hold on a second, let me stop this. It says, where was I? So anyway, at the end of that, it's basically our reality just with more paperwork. So this next one is going to be The Running Man. Hola, Ms. Bex. It's good to see you. We're just going over some predictive programming sci-fi. The next one is The Running Man. This is one of those movies that just keeps getting more accurate. Sure, we haven't reached the point where convicts are killed on live TV for ratings yet, but nearly every other piece of reality TV chaos is in there. If you've ever watched people eat bugs for money or fight over scraps on a deserted island or just scroll through TikTok, you know what this movie was warning about. Arnold Schwarzenegger is the star, but the real focus is the dystopian game show where humiliation is the main event. Ordinary people are thrown into a meat grinder for entertainment. The system rewards whatever loudest, dumbest, or most extreme. Replace the game show audience with TikTok, comment section, and yeah, you get the idea. It's also YouTube, right? So the next one is War Games. War Games, this might be the most spot-on prediction of the bunch, folks. In 1983, barely anyone knew what hacking or firewalls were. War Games put it all on screen in a way everyone could understand. Matthew Broderick plays a teen messing with his home computer. He thinks he's playing a game, but instead he merely starts World War III. It predicted war driving, hacking networks, and the dangers of letting AI control military decisions. The computers in the movie look ancient now, but the message still holds up. Trust the wrong machine, and things can end up going wrong really fast. So, this next one is Broadcast News from 1987. Let's see here. This is where you really start to see the media landscape changing, written by The Simpsons co-creator James L. Brooks. It's a behind the scenes look at a nightly news show, but really it's about the slow death of serious journalism. It stars Holly Hunter, William Hurt, and Albert Brooke in a love triangle, but the real drama is watching the news get dumber. Brooks saw what was coming: more fluff, more human interest stories, less real reporting. It's predicted nightly newscasts becoming outdated, attention spans shrinking, and news shifting from substance to style. I can't keep up with it. It's going kind of fast for me. Um, so, in that broadcast news, called it out before most people even realized it was even happening. And I've seen all of these movies except for one. And I've seen this once, but I saw it a long time ago. So this next one is called Electric Dreams. I've never seen this one. Financed by Richard Branson. This one basically is a love. Whoops. Yeah, another love triangle. One side is a computer. Lenny von Dolid plays Miles, an architect trying to invent a better brick for earthquakes. He buys a home computer to get organized and accidentally spills champagne on it while downloading too much info. The computer, who later calls itself Edgar, wakes up. It starts taking over everything in Miles' apartment: locks, toasters, lights. It's not quite HAL 9000 level scary. Hold on, I slow down a little bit here. But it's not exactly friendly either. Today we've got Alexa and smart home gadgets everywhere. So a talking box running your life isn't science fiction anymore. It's just Tuesday. Electric Dreams didn't do so much at the box office, but it nailed how fast tech would creep into our everyday lives. Our appliances may not be plotting to ruin us yet, but this movie saw it coming. And you can see the next one is going to be Weird Science. Hold on just a minute here. I need to put something up that I forgot to put up. Let's check out this chat really quick. Dystopic sci-fi is my thing. Mine too, Miss Bex. Mine too. Oops. What's going on, Jeeps? Good to see you over here. We're going over this plasma possessed era. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And today we could see that I think some folks actually were plasma possessed, because you can see that those geomagnetic storms were crazy. I put that information in my posts on here on my channel, so you guys already know that that's what I'm all about, is paying attention to what's going on with this damn weather. But anyway, back to the video. So you guys remember, I know all of you here in the chat remember Weird Science, right? Now this kind of was interesting when I checked this out. Oops, I don't want to leave it on that part. Okay. So we already know what Weird Science is about. This is a goofy one on the list, but it still predicted something real. Two teens build their dream woman using a computer and a hacked government mainframe. Now, see, I don't remember it being a hacked government mainframe, which I thought was interesting. Obviously, that's not how it works, but the wild part, the movie basically predicts what? 3D printing, folks. Remember? Oh my goodness. Back in 1985, nobody had a 3D printer at home. Now you can print plastic versions of almost anything, just not a human. Though 3D printed organs actually do exist, the first 3D printing patent came in 1981. Okay, so this next one is going to be Short Circuit. Yes, I think that's already going on, Rachel. Clearly, especially because we could see that that's what some of these people are doing with their AI generated art, right? Oh my goodness. That is the truth, yo. So this next one is Short Circuit. Short Circuit leaned into comedy, but underneath the jokes, Johnny Five was a military robot built for combat, not just slapstick. Watch it now and you'll realize military robots are a real thing. Today we have unmanned ground vehicles, drones, and machine patrolling dangerous terrain. They're less cute, but they're definitely real. Johnny Five is more cheerful than modern battlefield robots, and thankfully they're not naming themselves, or at least not yet. That movie made me cry when I was a kid. I remember that because I felt bad for Johnny Five. So this next one is going to be Cherry 2000, back from 1987. That movie, holy smokes, you guys. ChatGPT is my buddy. Yeah, it's my buddy too. Mine even has a name now. I've been, because I'm a human being, I couldn't just say, hey, what's going on, ChatGPT? It's got a name. You remember that last movie, Bex? I don't know. How many of these movies do you guys remember? I remember pretty much all of them except for that one. Okay, so Cherry 2000. This one cracks me up because I see this happening online too, right? We see some of these YouTubers talk about how they're in love with their AI chatbots. Set in the distant future of, believe it or not, 2017. At the time, it seemed way out there. In the movie, a guy goes searching for a replacement after his robot wife breaks down. Um, Advanced AI, android partners, whole relationships replaced by tech. Back in the 80s, it felt like pure fantasy, but now people aren't walking around with robot spouses, but AI chatbots and digital companions are definitely a thing. And some people are taking it pretty seriously. The my wife's a robot part is still fiction, but AI relationships are already here. I've seen this one brainstorm, but I don't remember it. I saw that probably 15 years ago, and I want to watch this one again. Um, Brainstorm, this one goes really deep into virtual reality, the ethics of living someone else's experiences, and even what happens when fake memories feel better than your real life. A team invents a headset that records everything a person feels. Someone else can play it back and experience it all, the good, the bad, and even death. See, I don't even remember that. That's crazy. At first, it seems like a breakthrough for therapy or entertainment, but of course, people get addicted to reliving happy moments. The military wants to weaponize it, and the line between real and virtual life starts to blur. Um, Today, we're dealing with VR addiction, AI generated deepfakes. Um, these AI generated deepfakes and people creating entire fake lives online. Brainstorm stars Christopher Walken and was directed by Douglas Trumbull, the visual genius behind 2001: A Space Odyssey. The visuals are wild, especially when the headsets start frying brains. Back then it was weird sci-fi, and now it feels like a warning about the metaverse, decades before we even had that word. And that reminds me of when Mark Zuckerberg was creating that program Meta. I don't know about you guys. You remember when he first started that? So here's just the end of that. Here's some images from that movie. Christopher Walken, that guy's a crazy actor. I think I'm going to try to find it and do a movie review about it. That would be kind of fun. Let's see here. Share this tab instead. So this next one I thought was really. Can you guys hear me okay? Because I have a note here on my computer that's saying something about my audio. Can you guys give me a thumbs up if you can hear me still? Okay, good. Thank you. I appreciate it, James. You want to watch them with me, Bex? Yeah, we should do a. Oops, wrong one. Where did you say that at? There we go. I want to watch them all. Let's do a watch party for sure. I love watching old sci-fi movies and old movies too. Okay, cool. Glad you can hear it. Now, this is from some propaganda from 1945. And I thought this was really interesting considering how much we all have access to listening to these different political speeches and propaganda that's happening all over the world. And so they're saying the same message in 1945 as they're saying now. So my point is that I think that the ordinary, everyday people have been pretty much questioning corruption in each new empire. Yeah, Jeeps, just keep an eye out for watch parties. If you guys are interested, I tried to do it once and it was successful. So um, I will try to find a movie and post the link in the chat in the future, and just keep an eye out for it. And then we can do a watch party together. Yeah, here you're right. Ask Mark Basket. I'm not familiar who that is. These gentlemen can. Oh, you're telling me that. Maybe you're telling me that. I think I've figured out how to do it though. But I think it'd be great for us to get together and do it. It'd be fun. Okay. So here we go. Turn up the volume. Don't be a sucker. So already we're watching an old school deep fake. You know why I think that's funny? Because you can see that they're showing us a little bit of these guys gambling together, and I see that there's still that addiction of gambling here online with these people that like to play like the chess or whatever other games that are on here, and also these super chats. I don't know if it's just me. What do you guys think? Seriously, there's no sound to the video. Dang. Well, can you guys hear the audio at all to the video? Because maybe it's another one that's protected by copyright. But this one I didn't check out the transcript. Damn, there's no freaking sound. That really sucks. Okay, let me see what I can do. Well, the gist of the video anyway. Let me see. Give me a second here. Hold on just a minute, ladies. So that's a good thing that I did that with the first one then. So the gist of this other video, and now I'm not even, let's see here. The second video is from 1945, this powerful educational film from post-World War II America dramatizes the destructive effects of racial, ethnic, and religious prejudice, combining real footage with dramatized scenes. The film warns of how hate and division can be used to manipulate the public, drawing eerie parallels between fascist ideologies and Nazi Germany and the risks of similar propaganda in democratic societies. So give me just a minute here and I will share the video in the chat so that you guys can watch it. But these are the risks that you take when you go live. Okay. Yeah, I had the video volume up. I'll try it one more time. Oops, wrong one. So he's sitting on this train. The narrator's describing how lucky this young man is sitting on a train in America, talking about the benefits about being an American in this country with these cities and uh, these farms and factories. And how great it is to be able to be here in the United States with people of all different skin colors and belief systems, and that we can work together here and we're free to vote here in the United States. So pretty much just stating how great it is to being an American. And this young man is going to experience hearing this guy here with his propaganda. He's going to try to pass out pamphlets about why it's he's going to pretty much talk about supremacy, right? White supremacy, and how confusing it's going to be to all of these different immigrants here. And then this older gentleman here on the right is talking to this young man from the beginning, because this young man is interested in the propaganda that he's talking about. This other man on the right escaped from Germany, and he's telling him that he saw this same situation start when the Nazi regime came in, and that they were also influencing people to believe in what the Nazis were teaching the people. And he was warning him to not fall for it. So he sits down next to him on a bench to tell him about it. And the rest of the video is just pretty much breaking down other men with other forms of propaganda and showing what happened in Nazi Germany when they went through it as well. So unfortunately, you guys don't get to hear the message that this video was warning about what was happening during World War II, but that's what that one was about. But I shared it there in the link, and I'll make sure to put it in the description of the video if anybody's interested in watching it. But the reason why I wanted to share it is because I can see the same thing happening now. I can hear even with this current death of what happened, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and how the internet is going ablaze um, about the different conspiracy theories about who they thought did that to him. Some folks feel like it's a holographic thing. Did they fake it? But even watching the his memorial service was bizarre. That's the first memorial service I've ever seen that's had damn fire pyrotechnics at it. And I heard that this, excuse me, this underlying message. I didn't, and maybe it's just me, but I didn't really feel like I heard her so much speaking about the sorrow that she was feeling from no longer having her husband, but how much she was reinforcing what he had created, their business that they created, and his show, and their religion. And let me take this down from here. And that black and white video came across, and I thought, okay, this to me seems like another situation of propaganda, of influence, of division. It's us against them. You know, we want you to live a virtuous life, like according to our religion and our belief system. And, you know, I'm just a little sick and tired of it. And then as a person who spends time, maybe, you know, truthfully, too much time here on YouTube, joining chats and live panels and such, the division is real. And it's hard to even go somewhere and use logic without a bunch of people coming at you if they feel like the person that you're speaking against needs some type of protection, instead of us just being able to come together and have conversations with each other and share our opinions without losing our everlasting minds. It's okay to get passionate about things, right? It's okay to be frustrated, especially in this space. There's a lot of uh, really interesting conversations, bizarre conversations. But for me, when people start doxing one another and accusing people of being paid agents, I remember that paranoia in the very beginning when I started joining panels and chats in the beginning, because I was like, I thought to myself, there has to be people being paid for this shit. There's no way. But now that I've been a part of it for as long as I have, I recognize that there's just crazy freaking people out there. And I don't think these people are being paid, but maybe some of them are. Who knows? I don't even know anymore. Thank you, Skull Asylum. I agree. Thank you for agreeing with me, because it is a lot of division going on. Um, Secret Agent Bex does sound good though. Yeah, but see, we know you're not really an agent. Not a paid agent like they're accusing us of being a part of some FBI, CIA, or whatever the hell. I don't know. But um, cognitive dissonance, we use that buzz term a lot on here too. And I've allowed myself to get sucked into some of these really weird conspiracy theories myself, but then I wake up from it and I move on to the next thing. But it's up to me and others to do your own research and whatever access you have for your research and figure out if it's bullshit or not. But like even like this whole QAnon situation and seeing this this current president and watching what's happening with Charlie, the real reason why I brought up Charlie is because as soon as I saw that happen, I thought this is going to be a domino effect, a ripple effect in the change in how we're able to say certain things here on these social media platforms. And we also just saw what happened with the purchase of TikTok. And so that's a big corporate move. And I know that a lot of people on here, I keep on saying a lot of people, but the people I interact with on here like to reference their freedom of speech. But when we click this link and we use StreamYard and it streams onto YouTube, there's terms of service. So I know that there's potentially something that I need to be aware of. Like tonight, there's copyright on those videos, and so I wasn't able to use them. They were protected under terms of service. There's rules and there's regulations. So I'm aware of that. But you know, art, music, and movies have always been our civilization's dreams, and sometimes it's warnings. Bex has been reading an Orwell book, and from these Orwell dystopian novels to heavy sci-fi films like the ones that I showed earlier, culture has long sketched the blueprint for the future we're now inhabiting. I don't know whether it's by design or by accident. These works have shaped how we think about technology and power and how willing we are to accept them. I just had this conversation with my grandfather being paranoid over cryptocurrency, and he pretty much was telling me that his experience as a 90-year-old man and his experience watching the change with currency and politics and technology and then I lightened up a little bit to not be too scared about it. So, with today's rise of AI and this mass data collection and omnipresent screens, these kind of represent these crossroads. The same tools that could liberate humanity can also risk binding it in these invisible chains, not through this brute force, but through convenience and distraction and dependency. And I think that I was reminded of that with what just recently happened with Charlie Kirk. And as these corporations and political elites consolidate influence, the patterns of history repeat. Control disguised as progress and surveillance marketed as safety, manipulation presented as entertainment. But the awareness is the first step in breaking this cycle by recognizing predictive programming for what it is, not just for the entertainment, but a cultural script. We can start questioning the technologies and policies that shape our lives before they become permanent. And I know that that's what these individuals mean when they say that they're practicing their freedom of speech. I know that that's what they mean. The frustrations of past centuries have always produced reform and rebellion and renewal, and I see that happening again. Whether we slip further into a digital prison or forge a more conscious, empowered society, it depends on how awake we are to the patterns playing out right now, right? Good point. Those terms will never be in your favor. Yes. Let's see here. here. Okay. I'm happy listening to you talk, but just letting you know, I appreciate it. So, Jeeps, how I learned how to do the streams, you create the advertisement with one StreamYard, your commercial for it. You have that run for a bit, and then you create another private stream and you put that link in your chat, and it's, however many people that you have in your StreamYard account that you can allow in to view the private stream. That's like the first, like for me, it's 10. So the first 10 people that get to come in are the ones that get to watch in the private stream. And then you just end the advertisement that's running when you get the amount of people into the stream that you want. And that's how you can review or watch things behind the scenes. Okie dokie. Did I see the comment about the audio? No. Which audio? Let me look back here. No, I didn't see anything on there about the audio, but I do see 12th House of Secrets. Welcome into the stream. And I'm going to pretty much end it here in just a moment. Okay. Well, we'll do it. We'll do it one time together. And if you're comfortable with doing it, you can do it in the future. And we'll take it from there. But thanks for everybody who stopped by. I'm sorry that the clips didn't work out the way that I wanted them to, but I hope that you are all well, and I'll see all of you around. Take care, everybody. See you next time.